Hello, and welcome everyone. On today's video, I will be making a small comparison video about the different culture between us in, well, not us actually, but us Indonesia. And the province that I want to use is South Sumatra. It's the capital city of, and the capital city is Palembang. I will be comparing a little bit of a culture, like from their food, from their way of speech, and their drinking habits. Because both this, and I will compare it to the UK, the United Kingdom, the British Isles. I will be just comparing them between like how they speak, the mannerism, and all this stuff, and mostly like what food they eat, and also the drinks. The drinks. That's going to be an interesting topic to be talked about on today's video. So yeah, stay tuned, everyone. All right, let's start with South Sumatra. Okay, some key interest I want to talk is, like I said before, is the way they speak, the foods, and the type of drinks that they really enjoys in every kind of occasion. First of all, in South Sumatra, it's very well known that their way of the speak, their tone it's quite high pitched. It's like an angry man, an angry person shouting at you, and that's how most of Southeast Sumatran speak to each other, and also to other people who is coming to their province. Second, they are some of the frontal unhinged people. Now, what I mean by frontal in here is that they are very, like they speak so loud, and then they don't even think about what they're going to say. They just say it to you. If they don't like you, if they are displeased, they're just going to say it in front of you. Yeah, and sometimes the word is quite, what can I say, a little bit of harsh, and it's uncontrollable sometimes. Yeah, that's why it's very well known that in Indonesia, that the South Sumatra is all people where people is, we call it the short temper people, because they get angry very easy. And the last one, the drinks. Yeah, so I've been into South Sumatra. Yeah, I grew up in there. uh, Most of them, the young people, the younger generation and the older generation, like their booze like their own children. They like to drink, and the type of food and drink that they're going to be that they enjoy will be talk about in the next part. So stay tuned. It's not going to take a while, and I'm just going to give you all about it, all about like the main thing, like what is the most interesting part regarding to the culture in South Sumatra. Yeah, because Sumatra and United Kingdom is almost similar. They're almost similar, because the type of food that they eat is something that is used common flour, like wheat flour, and then there's from kanji, from tepung kanji, or we said it's from casanova, a cassava root flour. Yeah, so, and it is also in theme of fish. They like to eat it with the fish most of the times, and also the drinks they really like to drink. So let's go to the next part. All right, some interesting food that I want to talk about is, yeah, everyone knows empe. Yeah, it is made of a cassava root flour. Basically, it's like a singkong, from a singkong. Like starch from, like, it's some people know it as a starch, because it's not type of flour, because it's very thick and very slimy. If you touch it with your hands together, it makes a quite a sound. So it's very squeaky. I don't know, it sounds squeaky when you use that flour. And sometimes it's also made of wheat. Well, it's the common case is made of wheat flour, because that is very more common, very more easy, and more cheap to buy for flour. That is what peppermint now. In the PowerPoint that I just showed you before, there's two food because this two food is very well known in South Sumatra and Palembang. The first is, it's called a tekwan. So tekwan is made of fish. It's also made of fish, just like pempek. You use a fish from freshwater fish. To be honest, most of them use freshwater fish. They use the snakehead fish. The one that really look like a snake, but it's not a snake. It has a big head. Yeah, and it's very slimy, because but they taste very good. They are not very. They don't have that gamey feeling, doesn't smell very bad, doesn't smell like a fish, because I don't know how to speak it out. Like, it's not like a very, it's not that stinky for fish. and it's very good for consumption, and yeah, it's very nice. And the next one is that one is also with the same fish, and also made of corn flour starch, whatever you want to use. That is what is mostly commonly used in that one. And the thing is, in that one is used with, yeah, it's like a soup, it's like a meatball soup, but the meatball is made of fish. That's how it is, and that's how you eat it. Yeah, the touch of sambal and the thing is gonna be good. And the next one is, it's like an appetizer. It's just a light snack at midnight most of the time. People buy it at night just to have a little bit of snacks before go to bed. It's called a martabak har. It's like an omelet. Okay, simply it's like an omelet. There's a lot of scallions. There's chicken. Most of the time it's used chicken for this one, for this food, and it has a sauce. Now the sauce, uh, it's very complex sauce. It is very spicy. Not the type of sauce that can be enjoyed by Westerners or Europeans sometimes, or most cases, because it's very spicy. And if you don't have a very good spice tolerance, I don't think you should try that. That is the some interesting food that is being eaten in Palembang, in South Sumatra. Now let's talk about the booze, right? What is the most commonly drink when people are gathering in Palembang? Well, the answer is, it's called a tuak Palembang. It's almost the same like wine, because it's a fermentation of a beans or grapes, something. But for wine, in most cases using grapes, but for in here it is not used grape. It's used something from a coconut. They said it's something from a coconut tree. I don't know which part of it, but yeah, this is the rare one. But in most cases that I saw in vendors that selling this tuak, it's made of rice. It's made of rice, a rice fermentation drink. So in a sense, and the alcohol concentration, it's almost the same like wine. That's why I said it's like a wine. It's 5 to 20% of alcohol. It's not very strong, but it is very good to the taste, and it's a very sweet taste, and that is what people usually drink in social gatherings, in family gatherings, or maybe just talking with the friends. Yeah, that's how it is. Also, there's a place that they sell a lot of tua, and also this kind of foods and side dishes like the pempek, or maybe the that one, or this martabak har. Yeah, it's one. It usually came from one place. It's called Alapo. In there you can find a lot of all these types, and also the drinks. Not every shop sells the tua in Palembang. So yeah, that's all about South Sumatra. Let's talk about to the comparison to the UK. Alright, so the key interest in England. Okay, first of all, let's talk about how they talk. This is the most interesting one. Everybody knows that the United Kingdom has a lot of accent. With those accents, they have sometimes like their own slang, their own words. Eventually, in actuality, and sometimes people can get lost. Even the people who is commonly speak English, the native English speakers also sometimes become confused of what is this British person talking about, because in British there's a lot of accent. For example, there's the Scouse accent, the Cockney accent, the Yorkshire, and there's a lot more that I cannot say. And I also don't know how they speak it out, but it's very interesting how they converse with each other, and also the tourists or people or foreign people. Now, second of all, as a country that colonized many countries back in the past, colonizing a lot of during the colonization period, surprisingly, their national food looks rather unpleasing to the Asian mind. Yeah, why do I say Asian? Because it's not just Asian, but all of Asia thinks that their food is quite lacking in how they look. It's quite unappetizing, because most of the time not spoilers. There will be a segment for that. I will be talking about what they eat, and what they drink. Also, yeah, the same like Sumatra. They love their booze like their own child. Astonishingly, that's why I choose the United Kingdom and South Sumatra, because the hobby of the food that they eat is almost the same. The drink is also almost the same, but in much refined class. To be honest, that's just the difference between these two. And also, one thing that is interesting about the UK is about their way of pronouncing that they're talking, how they talk to each other. When it's come to church, they have this kind of a very kind manners in speaking with strangers, someone they knew. Uh, Ignore if they. I know some of them may speak harsh, speak some bad language. Yeah, I know that for a fact. All of the internet can agree with that, but if it's a stranger, they will talk to you like they are very charming. The way the English they speak is just there's certain spice in it. Like it's just charming. It just seems kind. That's how how I see it in my research, finding all about the cultures between these two cultures. Uh, it's quite the opposite with the Palembang. So yeah, that is first. That is all. Let's continue to the next part. Let's talk about what they eat and what they drink. All right. Talking about the UK, about the England. You know what they usually eat. What is their national food? Yeah, it's the fish and chips. Fish and chips. So the fish is mostly a saltwater fish like cod or something, or halibut. Yeah, a lot more. It's not also just fresh, not just salt water. Sometimes it's fresh water from it made from a catfish for the fish. The fish is coated with uh, panko breadcrumbs just to make it more appetizing. The color more golden brown. And then you got the chips. It's just yeah. Sometimes it's French fries. Sometimes it's mashed potato. It just depends on the pub or the restaurant of it, and yes, one of I think that is the most commonly used in fish and chips. Now, in certain cases, they add another extra of another grains, and that is nuts, some beans, basically bread beans, or white bean, pinto beans, all type of beans, and this also counts as in their breakfast food. Like, I I don't even understand. Like, I just the Asian mind cannot comprehend this because for breakfast they eat just a toast and then they add beans on top of it and then cheese, a grilled cheese on top of it, and that is very, I don't know. It's not disgusting. It's not bad, but it just look unappetizing. Like a loaf of bread, and then you got beans on top of it. Just think about it. It's pretty weird. Just eating beans for breakfast and also eating beans for your lunch and your dinner. Damn, let's think about it. That yeah, I mean like the British food mostly moves around beans for the cereals and all the stuff. Is more into the grain type of part. That's what I said before. As a country that colonized a lot of country during the colonization period, their food is quite, I don't know. Some might agree with me that it's quite sad because just imagine you conquer a lot of lands during the colonization period, but your your food for the people is just beans. Just think about it. It's quite funny if you think about now. Yeah, I think that should be enough in talking about the food. So, but uh, I don't take any criticism to them. It's just fine. It's how they live. It's fine. Just let them be what they want to eat. Now, the second thing is the drinks. Yes, they have a very high drink culture. Can you imagine that? Even before you reach 16 years old, you are already allowed to be drinking. Yeah, it's actually in most Europe that rules stay the same because I don't even understand why that's legal in their parts in Europe. Below 16 you can only drink some beer, wine, something like so. But what I've found in my research that, and I see a lot of videos in online sources, is that they tend to like to drink beer, but the beer they drink is not it's not just from a can. It must from a pint, must from the keg itself, from a barrel, and when you pour it, you must have that white foam on top of the glass. If there's no white foam on top of that, they think that the beer is not good. I don't even understand. I can't even comprehend how does that works. But beers are beers to me. But up to them, I guess. And the second thing that they really like to drink is well, this is more commonly drinks by the high societal figure people who have quite amount of money, and that is white wine. And the most expensive one is the red wine. Yeah, uh, that's what they drink in most case for British, and they have a very strong alcoholism culture in their blood. I mean, like, uh, the people in UK after this, they just done with their work. They go home. No, they don't go home. They go to the pub. That's where the place where they drink. They drink and they eat. And they party in there just to talk about with other people, socializing in the pub. That's what I know. What I have seen and what I've known regarding this their culture. It is very unique because they are very, I don't know, they're very talkative. They're very social. For them, like going to the pub is like, it's something is a must in an everyday situation. It's very interesting to see like that. And I think that's all I want to talk about there. So let's go to the final section. Now, before I end this video, let me conclude something. Conclude some of the parts that I have talked before. First of all, South Sumatra, the capital city of Palembang, has a very unique way of speaking English and very notorious to be very harsh and loud. As for the United Kingdom, they tend to speak with a rich accent but commonly hard to understand. Even it is also for the others native English speakers, and also very kindly in tone. As for the food and drinks, practically all the same because they eat something that is made of flour, wheat flour, or maybe starch, something like so, and then they add fish, the same like in Palembang, the same they use fish, and they have a special spot to drink and eat those food and beverage. For in Sumatra they call it lapo, and in UK they call it a pub or a bar, but in most cases it is said a pub because it is very most focused to drinks for drinking, and drinks is beer. And for the South Sumatra is almost the same like wine, tua. Yeah, but in the UK they also drink tua. Yeah, I think that can close for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in and hearing me talking about all of this. I know you are a bit lost because I speak a little bit too fast. My apologies on that. But if you want to see the PowerPoint that I shared to you, you can check the link below because there is my PowerPoint in there. If you want to do a little bit reading, or maybe you can use it for future projects. For a thing, yeah. That's all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your attention, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye, everyone.